Howdy, Immortallium here. Welcome to Cultured Immortallium. And it has been a bit of a while since I've done a video on this channel. I ran into a few problems at the beginning. I'll just quickly push on because, people are here for a certain other thing. But it's just a case that apparently I got screwed over by the algorithm. Basically, I needed to be a bit more active with my channel before actively uploading stuff. So apparently I got screwed over by the algorithm a bit there. And I'm just kind of trying to figure things out, in terms of, future videos and all that stuff. It'd be greatly appreciated if you folks would, go ahead and check out some of my other videos, kind of give me some idea, some feedback on, what you like about them, what you dislike about them, etc., etc. That's not why you folks are here today. Instead, you guys are here today because of something very, very special. And that would be what's contained inside this box right here. So, as far as I'm aware, and I'm not sure, if you folks can correct me on this, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think I've seen any, like, Irodori Comic unboxing videos on YouTube. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the YouTube algorithm is, as, so many algorithms these days, discriminating against adult content. So maybe there's plenty, and the YouTube algorithm is just hiding a bunch of them. But I thought, anyway, that would be very interesting to unbox this, because it's got a very special series in there, a series that you guys already know from the title of the video, Imaizumi. I got the physical releases, and we're going to take a look at them. I don't know how much of this video I'm going to have to censor or cut out, due to, certain content guidelines. But anyway, without any further ado, here we go. So it's also worth noting that this is the first time I've gotten a physical release from them, and I see something interesting already. So kind of a package within a package. That's kind of interesting. Didn't expect that. Layers and layers, because next up is bubble wrap. Yay. Ah, I see what this is, and I have an idea of what this could be, actually. I'll see if I can actually show it to you folks afterwards. So just to quickly show, because I don't know if you guys saw it. So they were between some cardboard to keep them in shape. So very well packaged overall, I would say. Multiple layers, just to make sure everything was kept in shape. Pretty nice on Irodori's part. But of course, now we get to the real meat of this unpacking, and that is the doujins itself. Now, I'm not sure how appropriate this is for YouTube, this cover, but I'll give it a go, because as far as I can tell, there isn't anything showing that is strictly against their terms of service. And that is this. Imaizumi. Now, you can see from the horrible glare there that this is still wrapped up in plastic packaging, so another layer. So much stuff. But anyway, we got that, and we've got... Do you think this one's safe to show? Again, I don't think there's necessarily anything against terms of service as far as I can tell. Maybe I'll get into trouble and I'll need to adjust this video in the future, but I will go ahead and show you the cover for the second volume as well. So this is a series that, has become very popular within the past few years. I've also been picking up some of the other series, the kind of slice of life series, but this is the first time I've gotten a physical release from Irodori Comics. So without further ado, let me open it up. First things first to point out, of course, is the huge size of this. Like, look, it's bigger than my face. So yeah, I've finally got out of the actual the wrapper now, which is good. Now let's take a look. So as I said before, of course, huge size. This is like a full kind of Western comic size, as far as I can tell. Which is cool, I remember in the past wondering about the trim size of these releases, so it's good to see that it's nice and big. Oh, it's got that new comic smell as well. So I have to find some relatively safe pages. This appears to be non-glossy paper. If you take a look, I believe this is a relatively safe page to show. You can see it's in full color, which is, fantastic. The original manga, or doujin, I should say, was in full color, so it's nice to see that it is in full color as well. Obviously, I can't show certain scenes. In fact, I'm actually wondering as I'm flipping through, is some of the scenes blurring in? But it's presented completely uncensored, which is good. I haven't hold the book in such a weird way, just because of the fact that I can't possibly show you what's going on in some of these pages. So as you can see, it's like quite a thick release. I wonder does it actually mention the page count in here. We've got what looks like a kind of a nice afterword here from Norigorou, the creator itself, so that's good. And also, if I'm correct, they have some what they call SFW content here. Mostly for coma kind of stuff, which is nice to include. As well as some nice, you know, full pages as well. I wasn't expecting like this kind of page. That's quite cool. Ah, okay. So the table of contents is actually on the back of the book. So as you can see, it includes the first Doujin release. It's also got 1.2 in there. I can't quite remember what 1.2 represents. Number 2. Also, I know that these day off ones are very short. A day with Yukina, all the Gyarus to his house 3. A day with Ruri, filming and effing with Ruri. The SFW version, which is some of what I showed, and also the collection of color illustrations. So it's a nice, big release overall. So I'm quite happy about that. I am wondering a little bit about the paper quality, but I'll learn more about that. Also, probably need to cut that bit out again or censor it. I was expecting it to be perhaps glossy, but we'll see. It might serve its function perfectly fine. So with that, let's go ahead and open this one up. Now, this is an even bigger chunker of a book. Oh yeah, you can feel the weight difference on this. Also, does this include... It does, it has French flaps. That's interesting, as you can see. Also, we actually have some a contents page on the inside of the book. That's interesting. Maybe I just missed that with the other book. I'll need to double check. Looks like it's about the same paper quality. Let me see if I can find a nice safe page to show. As you can see, from number 4, I believe, if I'm correct. Yep, number 4. Now, I do know that I only learned about this recently. We have this little odd kind of bonus material where it's kind of like he's in a fantasy world and he has to defeat the succubi, which is obviously the girls. It's also actually a pretty decent lengthwise as well. And as expected, we have some more of these for coma. Although I hesitate now to call it for coma because here it looks like, you know, this is 8 panels. I don't know if it actually goes onto the other page. Yeah. Well, it kind of does actually. Yeah. So it's actually more than 4 panels. It's like 9 panels with 8 of them being presented in kind of 4 coma style. That's very interesting. Yeah, lots of very interesting. Like, I wonder how these are distributed. These like really small bonus stuff. Were these stuff that was made exclusively for the compilation, or was this something that was, you know, like maybe like included as a bonus at some events? Maybe they were released digitally, you know, to tide people over in between. I don't know. But as expected, you have the afterword from Norigorou. So that's really cool. Ooh, this is interesting. Oh boy. One of these pages is not safe to show. I'm gonna have to put my hand in a certain position, I think. So this is a full-on interview with Norigorou. So that's really cool that that's included. Nice. Does it actually say that at the back? I don't think so. I think it's a complete surprise that you get like a 2-page interview with Norigorou. So that's really cool. I really like that inclusion. So yes, this is the 2 releases that I have picked up here. Obviously, compared to some of my other unboxing videos, a little less shown, but that's because there's, I would say, a good maybe 70%, 80%, perhaps even, of pages, maybe even 90%. Is it that high? I straight up cannot show on YouTube. Yeah, this is a big chunky collection right here. Like, this is a lot of pages. It's presented in massive, like, you know, comic book sized trim size. It's got like a lot of good content in there. As I said before, the only thing that concerns me a little bit is the actual paper quality, the fact that it isn't like straight up glossy. But I suspect that's something that I'll be able to deal with relatively easily. I'll have to kind of check out in the future. And I'm definitely going to check this out in the future because, folks, this cost me a pretty penny. Now, I took advantage of as many discounts as I could possibly find to drive the price as low as possible. But even with all those options, it still cost a pretty penny. So I'm definitely going to be extracting as much value out of this release as I possibly can, both for the channel and also for my work on UK Anime Network. So look forward to that in the future. Again, I'm curious how I'm going to do it. In fact, this will be my first physical release for this channel. There's all been digital releases prior to this, so I'm kind of curious how I'm going to do it, but in terms of camera and the shots and everything. But as I said before, if you like this video and like what the channel is doing, leave it a like, consider subscribing. It would be greatly appreciated. Let me know your thoughts on Imaizumi and these Irodori Comics physical releases. Also, let me know if there's any other videos of people unboxing Irodori Comics physical releases. I'd be very curious about that. Were there any details about this that you didn't know about, before going into this video? For me, the biggest surprise was actually seeing that interview at the back of the second volume. That was really interesting. I hadn't heard anything about that. Maybe I just didn't look closely enough on the pages. And of course, consider checking out UK Anime Network. UK Anime Network is a website that covers a wide variety of Japanese media. We're talking anime, manga, video games, live action, toys, etc., etc. And I'm covering content like this on there, so definitely go check it out if you're interested in seeing some doujin reviews. Also, go ahead and check out my main channel, Immortallium, which I want to get back to someday, but time is very precious at the moment, and I find myself often very, very tired and having to work on multiple things. And also go ahead and check out Victory Achieved Gaming, which is a YouTube channel in which I help guide a friend through some challenging video games. Currently, you're doing Dark Souls Remastered and Puyo Puyo Tetris, so definitely go check that out if you're interested in that type of content. Anyway, with that all being said and done, this has been Owen, also known as Immortallium, living the cultured life, and thank you very much for watching. I was cleaning up afterwards, and I just spotted that I hadn't actually shown what this is. So let me see if I can actually even show it at this point. But I think I know what this is. So I think with Irodori Comics, they mentioned if you purchase physical releases of them, that they're going to include art cards. Art cards I've never been the biggest fan of, but it's part of the package. So I may as well include it if I can. Show off what they are. There was actually just an opening on the very bottom, so... And the answer is no, I cannot. I cannot show these safely. So let me just show you the back of the cards. You get these cards. Basically, to try to describe, it's a cover of a manga. And you also get, I believe this is the author's name, written both in English and in hiragana. Oh, this one also includes kanji, so I guess either hiragana or kanji, maybe even katakana if they feel so inclined. I'd need to double check what series these are, but one of them is from Shayo and has 3 girls, who are naked. One has red hair, one has black hair, and one has white hair. So, if you know what that is, you can probably go and, check that out. And then this card is Yumeki Banana. And again, we've got a naked girl on there, surrounded by a bunch of guys this time. You can see, some of their crotches. And there's also a chain involved, which is interesting. So yes, I cannot show the actual images on these cards because it's too much for YouTube. But you do get these cards sent along with it. What kind of value they have, I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure it's just something to collect. It seems randomized because, those cards had nothing to do with Imaizumi. As you can see all the way back there, I was literally just cleaning up and noticed the cards. So I was like, oh, gotta include it. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. This is just a little addition to the end of the video. All the stuff that I plugged beforehand still applies. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.